Welcome to the Irish Revolution. Last month we talked about the Republican propaganda campaign and the first steps in the partition of Ireland. This month we're going to talk about an attempted assassination on Lord French, the Lord Lieutenant Viceroy of Ireland, in Dublin. A select committee to advise Lord Lieutenant French was established in December 1919, and it included T.J. Smith, the Acting Inspector General of the RAC, Sir John J. Taylor, the Assistant Under Secretary at Dublin Castle, and Alan Bell, a resident magistrate. On the 7th of December, they warned that, quote, an organised conspiracy of murder, outrage and intimidation has existed for some time past, unquote. They complained about the growing effectiveness of the IRA military and social campaign against the police and suggested that the official policy should be the infiltration of the Sinn Féin political movement and certain key leaders assassinated. It's ironic then that at the exact same time a small group of IRA men, key figures in Michael Collins's squad of assassins, were targeting the hardline Lord French for assassination. A unit lay in wait to ambush French on the 10th of December, but his convoy had taken a different route. Michael Collins learnt through the son of a railroad official that French would return to Dublin on the 18th of December 1919 and would get off at Ashtown Station, a stop near Phoenix Park. Another ambush was set, but French didn't show. The IRA unit learnt the next day that French had delayed his return by one day. Having learnt this, they quickly got their group together and assembled at Ashtown Cross shortly before 1 p.m. For those of you familiar with Dublin geography, Ashtown was much sleepier then than it is now. It was basically countryside with one significant building, the pub, Kelly's, where many of the would-be assassins chit-chatted with locals while they were waiting for the train to arrive. It was something of a motley crew, as several of the normal members were at work. They made use of a group of Tipperary men up in Dublin on the run, who among them included Dan Breen, Sean Tracy, Seamus Robinson and JJ Hogan. Names you might remember from earlier in the series, in particular the raid at Solhead Beg that kicked off the war and the rescue at Knocklong in County Limerick. Acting in the moment, they pushed the farm cart out onto the road to block it. They were then interrupted by the sudden arrival of a policeman who was there to direct traffic for the convoy. It all happened so quickly, they thought that French was in the second car of the convoy, so they directed their fire at that one. In the end, he was in the first car and so managed to slip away. A detective sergeant was wounded in the hand by a grenade. While the first car got away, the second car was destroyed and the driver managed to escape. The third car had French's military escort and they opened fire on the IRA, killing one of them, Michael Savage. He wasn't actually in the IRA, he just happened to be with his friend Mick MacDonald that day and so kinda tagged along. Shit luck, eh? Dan Breen was wounded in the leg. Paddy O'Daly, one of the lads involved in the ambush, later concluded that the failure to kill Lord French was down to the fact that they weren't able to block the road. On the other hand, he reflected, if they had done so, they probably would have been wiped out by French's armed guard, as they were outnumbered 3-1 as well as outgunned, revolvers and grenades against rifles. The Irish media had some unionist voices, the most important of which was the Dublin-based Irish Times. The majority of the media, however, was generally speaking nationalistic and in many cases sympathetic to the Sinn Féin cause. The Irish Independent, on the other hand, took a strong line against the attempted assassination of Lord French, calling it a criminal folly and an outrage. Michael Savage, the one Republican casualty, was called a murderer. The staff of the Irish Independent were not all in agreement with the editorial line. The chief proofreader, Martin Pender, and the drama critic, David Sears, were both long-time Republicans. George Gormby, a sub-editor, was a member of the IRA. In addition, some of the reporters regularly fed information to the IRA. This coverage outraged the IRA and General Headquarters ordered a raid of the Irish Independent offices. 15 men with sledgehammers, crowbars and heavy wrenches entered the print room and smashed up the machines. The editor, T.P. Harrington, was held up at gunpoint and threatened, although he wasn't shot in the end. Dan Breen recorded in his memoirs that there was better reporting of IRA activity after this incident, unsurprisingly, although of course this is quite difficult to prove. And wrapping up today, an RAC constable, Edward Bolger, is killed by the IRA in Kilbrittain in County Cork. In County Limerick there was a raid on a post office in East Clare led by a unit under Michael Brennan which took £1,500. A bill is introduced to the House of Commons in London, the Better Government of Ireland Bill. It proposes 2 parliaments, one in the 6 counties in North East Ulster and one for the other 26. We talked about this extensively in earlier episodes. And a look at biographies now. We covered Lord French back in October and Dan Breen in April. This month we're going to take a look at Michael Brennan and Walter Long. So Michael Brennan joined the IRB in 1911. He was a major figure in the revolutionary period in Clare, led a raid this month on the post office, netting £1,500 for the cause. He was OC of the East Clare Brigade and later became the commandant of the 1st Western Division of the IRA. He was pro-treaty and was a significant military player during the Civil War. He later became Commander-in-Chief of the Irish Army in 1931. Walter Long was a Unionist politician who served as the leader of the Irish Unionist Party in the House of Commons from 1906 to 1910. Over a 40-year political career, he occupied several cabinet positions and was a self-declared and self-appointed expert on Irish affairs within the cabinet, despite betraying at times absurd levels of ignorance about the island. One famous example of this was his demented assertion that the goal of Sinn Féin was to formally join the United States of America as a state in the Union, which apparently was something he honestly believed and not just a joke. He was one of the biggest cheerleaders of Irish conscription during World War I, which did more than anything else to catapult Sinn Féin to pole position on the island. Then came the fraudulent German plot, which led to the arrest of many Sinn Féiners, which Long also pushed for. As chairman of a subcommittee of the cabinet, Long was largely responsible for the policy to partition Ireland. He joined the House of Lords in 1921 and that was the effective end of his political career, and he died 3 years later. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and talk soon. Good luck now.